There we go. We're on.
Done. How many weeks has it been? 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean,
3 weeks.
At least a month.
3 weeks already.
Nah,
it's been a long time. We are sorry. Because I think in the last podcast as well, we said we're going to be back like on this next weekend. There we go.
We also mentioned that we would only do it if we're up for it. I know that I went through a bit of a mental health thing with that the following week, and then Christmas shopping came into it the following week after that, and it was just you had a good surf report coming in, and it was just I
can't blame the surf report on it, but yeah, the surf report was good. I was meeting some friends that day. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good few weeks. A lot has happened personally. A lot of good stuff has happened personally. A lot of stuff we've been through. Yeah. And to be honest, it has been the big build up to Christmas, which to be honest has completely flown past me because I am not ready. I am not ready for 5 days time.
Yeah,
it's 4 days time.
Yeah, I'm in the future, bro. So it's it's currently 1:30 in the morning for me, but yeah, it's coming fast, man. This year has been so up and down with everything, but I'm looking forward to the new year. I think everyone says that, look forward to the new year, because I think everyone looks back on the year. I don't think not many people look back on the year as a positive outcome. You know, like last year was a fucker. No, I know this year's been like terribly bad, but I think every year everyone's like, oh, you know, next year's gonna be better. But it's always like at the end of the year, they like get to it like this year was shit. And it just never gets better, you know?
Yeah, it never does. Everyone's always raising the bar.
Yeah, this year it was shit. There's no way we're going to have fucking, no, I hope not. But it's got to be better next year. I think everyone next year will be like, that was a better year for the first time in my life.
It can't get much shitter than it is now when everyone was almost in a dying situation. You couldn't do anything or leave anything on. Everything can get you fined. That was shit. That's a pretty shit outcome. But we've done it, and lots of positives have come from it. You know what? We should probably do that. Maybe the last podcast of the year, if it was to fall onto. Well, it won't fall onto the last day, so we could be fine for that. But maybe we could talk about like a rundown as to like what massive positives came out of it and how it was for us. It's been a hard year, let's be honest. Mental health, like, that's been hard. But lots of positives where like staying indoors has been productive in some ways. You know? Yeah. Because ours, let's be honest, like our last 6 months have been completely different from each other's. You guys are basically reigning free, and we're kind of like stuck in the walls.
Yeah, it's weird because you're actually working out more than I am. I'm working more, like day job, businesses and stuff. I work more than what like the last 6 months leading up to Christmas, and I haven't been able to do exercise, go outside much, do other things. You've been locked inside. All you want to do is go outside and exercise. So we're like two different people right now. You know. You're fit, you're healthy, trying to get out. Me, I just like want to fucking sit inside and just eat junk food all day because I'm literally just been fucking stressing out and in the heat in Brisbane at the moment. It's been humid as fucking storms, so it's been pretty shit. But I mean, it's you got to look at the positives, man. You really do. And some of the biggest things that I've done this year is listen to podcasts, like, you know, a lot of mental health stuff that's helped me through stuff. And podcast is a great way to do it, man. Podcast is a great way to do it.
I think that's what we got into, wasn't it? Because you were starting it off, and then I looked at Misfits, and I was like, hey, this is really fun. I want to try this. And then we got from there. You know, it's been bumpy. Let's say it's been bumpy, but it's been good. Yeah. You know, it's been enjoyable. But, you know, we're still giving it, and I like that. I like that we haven't stopped it. You know,
I don't want to stop it.
Time. No, exactly. Like, we've given it the time that we need to go and make sure we do our things, because we've had a lot going on, you know, but it's good. It's going great. I mean, like, you're doing really well, which is good to see. That's what I always love to see. You know, I like to see everyone that's around me and people close to me doing well, doing things they want to do. And that's something you've been doing.
Yeah. So working on my own, like, personal growth, you know, like still within the industry and stuff, but like kind of under the radar than what I used to be, obviously streaming and all that kind of stuff. Been a little behind the scenes shit, but it's been good, man. It's been really good. Taking a bit of a break now coming into Christmas, but next year, hopefully we'll get more smoother routine with the podcast in our own style once COVID hopefully lifts a little bit and we can start to have a bit more of a routine to things. But yeah, it's been good. I think the end of the year for me has definitely been a lot better than like mid-year for me personally. I think it's been pretty good. Yeah,
because mid-year was very much like a finding ground. You know? I think like that was kind of how I was. Cause I was like, oh shit, isolation, like going to this. But then like I was kind of like, you know what, fuck it, I want to do shit. You know, I want to make things happen. So we did the servers. We did we got the podcast going, done different things,
Hey.
videos, got those things.
Speaking of servers,
They're out.
Your new one's out.
We've got new servers, which we made in 2 weeks of just absolutely. We were working. Mate, it was like
It's a sweatshop, bro. It's a sweatshop. Like you've been working underpaid.
Yeah.
No breaks.
Yeah, no break. Yeah, exactly. All of that. It's like YouTube, mate. YouTube is exactly the same.
Fuck off.
Underpaid, no breaks. Always the same.
Yeah, 1 day's work, get paid 3 weeks' wage. Well, fuck it, whatever, you know.
But we managed to do it in 2 weeks, which has been like the craziest thing. Because obviously, I put the thing out about on Twitter, which I won't go into, obviously. But we separated from the previous hosts and stuff, and we found a new guy, and the new guy is just absolutely smashing it, and we're loving it.
Good.
Because everything we wanted is now coming to us a lot quicker than it was. And we're having a great time with it. We're feeling happier. We're feeling more pleasant. And shit's good, man. They released yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, yesterday was
2 days ago.
Saturday. Yeah, 2 days
Friday,
ago.
2 days for me. 2 days ago for me. But yeah.
So released on the Friday. And EU was good. EU got to 141 pop out of 200. And the US, which we always thought was going to do a little bit less, it got to about 30 odd. So we're like, okay. Expected. But the good thing about that as well is that one, we haven't put off a lot of people, to be honest, with some of the bugs and stuff with the servers, because there are some little bugs. We're fine, Graham. We're fine.
It's the first wipe, bro. You can't really people are gonna find the little nooks and crannies of like the problems, and then eventually get sorted out. And then once it's sorted out, you're sweet.
But it's looking good. Like people are loving it. We've already got lots of people loving the VIPs, like little packages and stuff, and the purchases, which means. Good for you. We're gonna start quickly looking getting an AU server. I hope we can get a lot of things going on. But we can get an AU server, and then we won't have a clue how to host it or anything, so you can just deal with the dross that you get given. But it's gonna be there. You won't have to play on 500 ping like some guys at the moment, who's also a VIP as well. Which is amazing.
Most of my recordings are always on like 300 ping. Like, the amount of times I swear I've been behind a wall or behind a door. Yeah, behind a door or behind a wall, and I'm still out in the open. It's like, fuck.
You lose every fight before you even knew it.
Yeah, I was dead before, like... Yeah, it was horrible.
Dude had already cleaned your body up, and you were there crouching, waiting.
Fuck. God forbid the server... God forbid the server starts to save, and then I just fucking... disconnect. It's that bad.
That's the thing. It's crazy, man. Some of the things that have been happening on there already. We've had some good experiences on there. Some people have been like, oh, why did you go to the old service? Like, bro, like you don't know. Well, you can know, but you don't know, the full story. But
I think you just got to look ahead, bro. I think now you just got to look ahead.
That's what we did.
And I think you're looking to bring. Are you looking to bring some events again, like you did the last time? You did a couple of events. Are you looking to do the same thing with some of these?
Yeah, we are. We've got we're planning an event which we think will be this Thursday coming up, but. We got to think about it because obviously we want to try and get it out as soon as possibly. Could do it that day and then edit it and get it the next day. Would be insane. That'd be mental. But yeah, we're gonna do that. We want to try and bring the community back to it because the community was a huge part of it. Like that was the reason we had the servers. It was mainly so that the community can get involved and enjoy it with us. Like we wanted to create a great server that everyone could play on, new players, experienced players, etc. And we're in that stage. We're at that stage, where we can go, you know what? Let's go again. Let's put the effort back in. Let's smash it out. And let's do it again where we did 9 months ago, when we first started. Yeah. And I'm thinking positive for it. I feel good for it. I feel like we're passionate enough to make it work. And obviously we've got great people behind us. You support, everyone else supports. And we'll go from there. Just got to get the publicity back out there and let people know they're happening. Because we've only been down 2 weeks.
Yeah, really. That's fun. I think for you, moving forward it'd be a really good thing. I think the community games are going to be a lot of fun. I know I participated in a few of those community games, which is really good. And I think for you love bringing out new ideas, and especially with your servers, you love to bring games and different events to your servers. And now I feel like you can do that more often, which is going to allow you to expand and act on your creativity a lot faster. And I think that will help you out a lot.
We will fuck things up. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Because I think like that's the thing. Like when I look at Rust, Rust isn't that game it used to be. It's now like that's it's a fun game, and we're making the fun aspect. That's what we want, and we want to go from there. But we'll see how that goes, and it's going to be good. We're going to get going on from there. But things that have happened this week. Well, things that have happened in the last couple of weeks, to be fair, that we've been looking at. So a couple of things have been listed. The big thing I want to talk about is Cyberpunk. because have you played it? Have you seen it?
Right. Okay, so I'll tell you this. We're in Australia, right? When Cyberpunk were at PAX 2 years ago, we didn't have PAX this year, it was PAX last year.
Yeah.
Before COVID hit. It was all over the place, Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. And I knew it was another Fallout 76. So Fallout 76 did the exact same thing at PAX Australia. Was fucking everywhere. And I filmed the front entrance because I got a media pass to PAX that year. And I filmed the entrance where they played this the Country Road song. The fuck, I can't remember how it goes now.
Yeah.
They played that song.
No, DMCA's, bro. I don't want to start singing.
Yeah. We don't want to do that. I mean, I'll nail the tone and everything, so they'll DMCA's for sure. And they had everyone at the front, and they played that song. Everyone started singing, and then they let off fucking not fireworks, like confetti and shit. Indoors. And then, and then confetti rained down, and everyone walked in. It was like a big thing about Fallout 76 at PAX. They kind of did the same thing with Cyberpunk, and I was like, I cannot trust. Ever since Fallout 76, well, actually before Fallout 76, I'll go back to say No Man's Sky fucking ruined my entire life. That game ruined any type of game that would ever come out for me was No Man's Sky. And I do not hold any game developers up to a high standard ever again.
I'm trying to think. I think No Man's Sky was a very big knock. A very big eye-opener to the gaming community as to what was happening. But I think it started before No Man's, you know. Because I can't pinpoint it down to games because I'll be honest, I'm not massively into gaming as I used to be because very much gameplay trailers are a lie. The gameplay trailers back in the day used to be of pure gameplay because that's all they could do. They never had the cinematic budgets. But nowadays, they're just chucking money at actors and chucking money at cinematics to make things go. And I'm kind of like, you're only setting yourself up for a downfall here. You know? You can make these cinematics and stuff and be like, oh, this is going to be good. But we ain't watching movies and we ain't playing movies. You know, we're playing games that you want to see the gameplay of because you'll see the videos, you go, oh, this looks so good, but it'll never meet it. It'll never meet the quality.
There's another one that's coming out. So Cyberpunk 1. Have you seen the trailer for Ark 2 that launched?
I don't want to see, I can't bring myself to see Ark 2 after the fucking Atlas release. What was that? That just fell out the anus of Ark or something? What was that?
It was literally the same engine as Ark. So Atlas, when Atlas launched, it had practically what you'd say like a front sheet over literally the front. It was like an overlay to literally the front page of Ark. So if you were on console, you could press 2 buttons and it would actually take you past the overlay to Ark when you were playing Atlas. It would take you to the fucking. That's how bad. Like. That's the biggest middle finger.
That is the biggest middle finger I've ever seen.
And it was so bad. Obviously, Atlas, everyone knew Atlas was fucking tragic. Everyone knew No Man's Sky was tragic. And everyone was like, but 5 years later down the track, it's all good. Once you put yourself to such a high standard by doing these gameplay trailers, because they want to sell quick, money quick, don't give a fuck about long term, they don't care. Gamers back in the day, they made that shit legacy. One of the biggest things that I really enjoyed was Fall Guys, right? Such a cool, unique idea. That was pretty cheap, and it did extremely well. The trailer did not do it justice. Rust, for instance, Rust's trailer on Steam is so out fucking dated. It's way better than what it is now, but they haven't updated it. But they're not trying to sell a game by the trailer. They're selling a game by word of mouth and voice. If you make the game fucking good, it will sell without a fucking trailer. It will sell.
Among Us.
Bro, Among Us is a prime example of that, yeah? Like, it will sell. Developers have this in their mind by if we can pay some editor or some movie developer to make a really good animated fucking movie, then it'll pop off and all we got to do is show one scene that we've just spent fucking 20,000 hours on for 5 minutes so they can see you walking down the street where it's like, you know, 4K pixels and you can see a reflection in car windows and shit. Like, and then you take one more step further and you fall through the fucking map. Like, it's just tragic right now.
You know what actually I think also comes into this category, and I know it's completely out of gaming, is Suicide Squad. I think ever since I saw the first trailer to Suicide Squad was so good because I love the Joker. I love all of that stuff. You know, the Joker is my thing, but that was the worst thing ever because I saw that trailer and thought this looks terrifying, like in a good way. You know,
yeah.
And then they released the second one with Bohemian Rhapsody playing behind it, and I was like, this looks like shit. I was like, your first trailer is so dark and so kind of like eerie, and the second one's almost flamboyant, over the top, like, hey, I'm the Joker, like, just go home. And it was crap anyways. I hated the whole film. But yeah,
Did you not like it?
Think Suicide Squad can suck my ass. Because I was so ready for a good film that it never hit it, you know? I thought it would be good. It was good, but then you start putting Will Smith into the equation, and Will Smith very much doesn't hit the eerie kind of feel, you know?
He's like games back in the day, yeah? So he was like, you know, I Am Legend was probably the last ever good movie he ever made. And the one with his son, I think it was the very first movie he had his son in. It was about, he was that's the one. That was a fucking awesome.
Great film.
Awesome. I Am Legend, fucking amazing. But after that, brother, just retire. Please, bro. Just, you're doing good, you know? You're doing good.
But I think he needs to find his area. Because he was playing serious actor for a while, which is good. And, you know, he had some really good films. Like Pursuit of Happiness and I Am Legend, just, you know, too different. But just, it's just crazy, man. It's like going back to it. Just watching these trailers coming out and spicing up all of these things. I didn't get excited. I went to E3 and I wasn't excited. I went home. Well, I went back to the hotel and went for a drive instead and just went to go see stuff.
E3 is like the biggest blue ball for gamers, bro.
It
like,
is.
You go to E games and everyone's like, holy shit, pre-order this, pre-order that. Like the amount of refunds, bro. Like honestly, how can you call yourself an awesome developer if like Cyberpunk released a statement saying that we should have taken more consideration to people playing on PS4 and Xbox One, right? There was a fucking
That's
official
like their biggest market,
bro. Because not many people could get Xbox. So what they had done, so I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Cyberpunk was in development for apparently like 5 to 10 years or something like 8 years, and so the PlayStation 5, right? And the what is it, Xbox X, whatever the fuck it is, the
Series
fucking
X and all that,
yeah. I don't do console anymore for plebs. But like it was never around then. You only had practically PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but yet the graphics in game, you can't even play on it. You can, like they actually said you cannot play on you can, but it's buggy as fuck. And you have to reduce the graphics down heaps, and it's a horrible experience if you're playing on those kind of graphics. And I watched someone like on the PC version and reduce the graphics down to low, and which is like a core shell of the game. There's a video out that was like, this is what you play on if you were to like put everything on low settings, and it's almost like stickmen walking around. Like that's their low settings because they know that the game is so fucking demanding that it just could not run on an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. And so many people refunded it. So they literally said, get in contact with us and we'll refund it. Like, as a game developer, if you have to put that statement out, you know you fucked up big time.
Yeah, you failed. And even Sony, like the PlayStation Store, literally said they're going to refund anyone who play it off them. Which is, like, to me, a really good statement to make because it's starting to tell devs, stop releasing shit.
Yeah.
You know, just stop it. Because
100%.
back in the day when you couldn't download stuff, games were complete. You know, there were slight bugs, and some of them were, you know, some of them could have been pretty bad. But the standard now, I know obviously everything's way more intense and stuff, but to release games that people have to consider refunding because you've absolutely buggered it. I mean, their release day, they must have gone, oh my God, I don't want to look on Twitter after this. You know? Because they put so much work into getting the sponsors out. They, like, even Keanu Reeves, who was, like, doing the big things about it, like, he must have felt like shit. Because he's basically put his face on it being like, this is going to be amazing. And then everyone's like going to refund it. This is crap. That's shite. Because as a developer, you have basically killed off your community. And I'll have a go at No Man's Sky about it because people always back No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a really good, solid community. And I don't know why. Maybe they just like being beaten and stuff. And then they like submit to their master or something. You know, they're kind of that. Yeah, they're loving that. Because like to start off with, they robbed everyone of their money. Because they did put out a lot of fake stuff that didn't happen. You know, so that was basically robbery. And then people persisted with it because they really wanted it to work. And they're now doing it, and it really apparently works really well, you know, which is congratulations. But you did kill off a huge part of your player base very early on, you know.
Yeah.
Very early on. Like, I wouldn't go and touch it, even if it's in really good condition now. I don't give a fuck. Pissed me off at the start when I tried to play that game, and I couldn't.
I just don't see, like, every person I've spoken to who played it, he goes, yeah, there's bugs. if you're a developer and you cannot do a single run of the campaign with no bugs, your game is not finished. You should not be able to release a fully fledged game if you cannot play. Because some people get DC'd. Like people had a lot of motion blur issues with the graphics, like due to your PC and stuff. Like when you moved, it would like blur and shit. And people getting like their eyesights were. I've seen a lot of people talking about like it's really hard to. They get like motion sickness just playing the game on their PC because it's so. It's hard to explain.
Weird.
But, yeah,
I haven't played it, but when I look at it, when I saw Flaps play it, I was like, it almost feels like. It's not fluent. It almost feels blocky. Like you're just moving. You can just move. There's no interaction or physical changes with the environment. You know, It looks a lot like Crackdown. You know, like the old game Crackdown off the Xbox 360. But I was just kind of looking at it being like this is the thing. I wanted to go and see how good it was. So on day of release, all of the top Twitch clips were about cock, tits, and glitches. I was like, this is shit. I was like, you can't just spend your whole time entertaining people with games on the cock menu. They're like, oh, look at this man's knob. I'm like, holy shit, bro. Show me some gameplay where I want to see things being like, oh my God, this is insane. You know?
So one of the things I did see, like people were loving the character customization of it, right? Awesome stuff. I'm glad they focused on the character customization. But your game is everything, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck how good you look. If you start walking through the map, you're not going to play it. Like, you would have put... I've seen people go, I put 2 hours into my character customization, fucking blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I went to play it, and I didn't even play an hour. Like, you spent more time in character customization because it was more fun than the actual game. And like, that is horrible.
I want devs to stop putting so much fucking looking into genitals. Just make a game. I'm not here for porn. You know,
it's like the did you ever on the old Xbox days, this is showing my real teenage years, there was a game called Playboy Mansion on the Xbox.
Yeah,
it's legit, bro.
That.
Yeah, and that game was, this is a new version of that, you know. So literally all it focused on was dick, titties, and glitches, because you could literally I
don't know why they bother, because it's like Cyberpunk 2020 looks really good, but there's so much sex in it that I'm just kind of like, what game are you making here? Like, I don't mind they have it in there. You know, I'm not kind of like, oh, shouldn't be seeing that. I'm just kind of thinking like, you've made a game. Why is a huge part of your core early emphasis sex? You know, bollocks, fucking tits. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know, what my person looks like, really. Just do standard changes, clothes, hair, face, all of that stuff. Why is there so much emphasis into being how to make your bloke more endowed or your woman more busty? And it's like, shit, like you're struggling. I feel like they're struggling when they're trying to do that because they're trying to make something where they're kind of like, oh, I really want to do this just because I can see some cock. I'm like, why? Just make a good game.
I wonder if you look at it from a different standpoint, right? So if you allow people to customize a character, they're going to want to share it. Right, they're going to want to share their character customization. Fallout 76 tried to do that, where you could take a screenshot. So at the end of your character customization in Fallout 76, you could actually take a photo image of your character as like a license, and you could share that with amongst your friends, and you could do like little fucking emotes where you're sitting on your bedside like this with your fucking fucked up clown looking face, because people did that too. And you would send it because you would share it, which would then gain the game traction before you even started playing it. And I feel like Cyberpunk took that from Fallout 76, that start of Fallout 76, and then did the exact same fucking thing with the game. Just turned it to shit. Absolute shit. Like, fucking...
I think it was a crap beginning, yeah.
It's like, but people say the storyline is great. Like, if you put past the bugs and shit, the storyline is actually pretty decent. Right?
So, really good. Yeah,
but the bugs are... The bugs are really outweighing, I think, for a lot of people. Like, I haven't bought it because I'm just like, that just seems like a disaster. It'll be another Fallout 76 in 5 years' time. I might buy it and I might be able to actually complete the game without glitching through the floor, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that, you know, I think the game generally, if you look past all of those things, it's still a good game. But it's been 8 years and you have chucked a shit ton of money at things you shouldn't have chucked a shit ton of money at because the game was selling itself anyways, you know? Yeah. Because that game has probably sold less copies now than if they sacked off Keanu and actually focused on something decent, you know? So, It is what it is. I think they'll pull it back with a few updates and DLC things, but they have to because right now they're in a shitstorm.
I just want devs to go back to the old days, man. When you produce a CD or a disc, that's it. There's no patches, bro. Digimon World never had a patch, dog. It has its fucking glitches. I get the shit, dude, every time. But like, you that's what makes you love those games, bro, because of the little glitches and the little like shortcuts and stuff. But the game is finished. You know, the game they produced were finished. Yeah.
As soon as it hits a CD, that's it. Shouldn't need touching, you know?
You don't need patches every fucking month.
E3 now is a strip club, but every stripper's got herpes. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Every single one has a problem.
It's all good. Like, the visual's great. The trailers and stuff.
They look great outside.
Then they take it off, and you see the full game, and it's like, fucking hell, hang on a minute.
Nasty. Stinks a bit.
You should get that checked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
sure.
Yeah.
We need a DLC for that. Whatever that is hanging around there, we want to make sure we're rid of that in the next patch.
That's it. Yeah. They're really trying to cover that up with a bit of lingerie, but it's not going to work, mate. I can see straight through that shit.
That's a refund.
Yeah, I'll get a refund, please, on that lap dance.
So, other things we've been looking at. So there's one thing we've been dabbling in, which is the sudden appearance of Belle Delphine today.
Oh, mate. I wanted to talk
I'm
about
going to let you start this because I want to see where you go in. Where do you want to have a nibble?
I'm not going to go into too much of it. Obviously, everyone knows who Belle Delphine is and the style. I like the way she markets shit, bro. It's so fucking genius. You look at her, and obviously for so long, I watched the Logan Paul podcast with her, and I learned a lot about her and how she started. So obviously, she started, for not many people know, she started off just posting cosplay stuff, got a bit sexual with it, then started adding really fucking messed up shit like octopuses and fucking whatever, and then she blew up. So she said she said that she was posting casual photos of cosplay stuff. She was slowly like going up, and then she started posting like half naughty pictures and stuff, and then poof, skyrocketed. Right? Great.
Yeah.
The way she marketed the bathwater, awesome. Disappeared for a while, which gained traction when she returned, awesome. Now she's returned, everyone's like, whoa. She started posting on her OnlyFans, blew up. I think she's now earning, I think she said an estimated value a month on OnlyFans is $1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. I was thinking like 40K.
Nah, $1 million.
80K. That is nuts.
She said the top creators on the OnlyFans platform is $1 million. And she said she has the biggest transaction removed from OnlyFans. So obviously, I don't have an OnlyFans, but OnlyFans, you must have a separate account that builds up, and then you take out of that account, kind of like the YouTube side of it, right? But she said that she is the biggest traction, like she's taken the most out of her OnlyFans account out of any other creator, which was something like over $2 million in one transaction out of OnlyFans account.
That is crazy.
And I'm just like, fuck, man. So she also spoke about, I'm like, she's so fucking smart, bro. And then she's now obviously going to start to finally, after blue balling people for so many fucking years.
Finally. This man's been waiting on it. BELLE has been waiting on this release. He's got his OnlyFans account ready. I mean, I'm registered all the premium stuff, but she said that she's going to finally release her first sex tape. Because if you've ever seen Belle Delphine on like Pornhub or whatever, she's been trolling people for years. It says Belle Delphine rubbing two cocks, and it's her with two chickens, and it's just been fucking blue balling everyone. Mainly me, but it's finally. I think she's gonna meme it. I think she'll meme it.
And she's so fucking smart because she's gonna drop it on Christmas Day. So no one's getting blue balled on Christmas Day, bro. Yeah. Everyone's having a happy Christmas on Christmas Day, bro.
Santa Claus ain't coming, bro.
No, she's
like,
coming.
No, I'm ready.
She's coming all over your screen. That's for
I think it's gonna be a fake. I don't think she's gonna do it. I think she's gonna do it, but she's gonna have an overlay, or she's gonna wear something or something like that, because it won't be a Belle Delphine video if it's not quirky.
But she did say that it was going to be a full. She did say on the Logan Paul podcast it is going to be a full blown sex tape. That there's no nudity, and it's going to launch on Christmas Day. And the reason why she's doing it Christmas Day because no one will forget the date that it launches. But there's one thing out of that entire conversation that you had with Logan Paul that fucking spun me out. And this is why she's such a marketing genius.
Was it the butt plug with the fidget spinner? That will spin me out.
That was your research that you gave to me. That wasn't my research.
It's a good tweet.
Yeah. But it was the fact that she was going to sell the condom in the sex tape. And I don't mean with the full load inside. Okay. So obviously she said that she's going to take it off before, the finished product happens, because she wants to make it off like a proper, she wants to make it like a proper thing, like a proper, start to finish intro, whatever. But apparently they're gonna sell that condom. Now, I think
is it going to be like a PSA 10 or something? It's going to be
fucking hell,
a little wallet. So if it's ripped, it's like a PSA 8. You've got to make sure it's all like sold properly.
Oh shit!
I think someone's thing is when they send it, like, how are they going to send it? Are they going to literally do the Logan Paul thing where they get the camera in a close up and they put it in the little wallet and then seal it and then send it away? Like, what's it going to be? How's it going to be sent off? Are they going to freeze it?
I don't know, actually, but I'm just curious to what you possibly think that will go for. Like, what? Because I'm sure that I wonder if she's ever going to make it known. Like, I wonder if she's ever going to make it known how much it actually sold for. She won't say who bought it, obviously. It'll be pretty private, but
I think she will say it, how much. I think she will.
It sold for. How much do you reckon?
I was initially saying 10 grand, but knowing that she gets $1 million a month off her OnlyFans, I'm probably going to say it'll be about 50,000.
You're going to go up 10K?
I'd say 50,000. Purely because I can see it going for more, though, which is stupid. Because I've thrown them away. I've chucked them in the bin, and I'm just thinking, like, fuck, get them back out. Dig them out.
The last 10, 15 years of my life, mate. Fucking hell, I've really preserved that at least 10 years.
Putting them in the bin. I think about 50k. I say about 50k.
Oh, mate, I reckon every woman out there now. Every woman out there now who's now making pornos is saving that shit.
Yeah. Like, quick, get it in the box.
Yeah. What are you doing with that? Don't you throw it away. I'm having that.
Yeah.
Give it in. It just blows my mind that she's gone through this whole process of like launching her first sex tape and she's going to do something like that. I mean, she was always going to sell something. She's always going to have an initiative behind it to make proper bank.
Sell the quilt. Sell the quilt would be more respected because you can kind of go, but okay. I've slept in hotel beds that are probably the similar condition, So
someone listens to podcasts in a hotel room just instantly just gets up and they're like, what the fuck?
They're like, oh my God, that
You've just
stain.
ruined it for them.
There will be a stain there. Someone's done an over-the-shoulder load shot. It's all over the backboard.
All over the phone that's being used. You just ordered room service. Fuck.
Certain things have happened in hotel beds that you would not want to see.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that she's done it so well. I wonder if she ever had the intention to make porn. Because it is almost like she had the intention to make porn.
She goes down the path. Her personality is very kinky in a way. Like she's
very submissive.
Yeah. So she ever said from the start, she's been like testing, like having sex in swingers parties and open rooms. She said she never, in the podcast, she goes openly about this on the podcast, but she said like she never did it with anyone else, but she's open to do it in a room with other people doing it. And if you get to that point, I don't think you're really going to care that a camera's watching you.
No,
I don't think that's not gonna worry about you. I think, but the fact that she uploads pretty much her entire life anyway, I think this was always been in the back of her mind that if it does build traction, which it did, that eventually, if you were to go MIA, which is what she did for however long, use your money, go on a holiday, come back, then use your OnlyFans when OnlyFans released, do exactly what she did, tease the fuck out of it, come into Christmas time, and then launch your very first porno, bro. It is gonna blow the fuck up. Bro, this will be she will be the number one porn star in the world that day on Christmas Day. She will be.
Yeah. Because let's be honest, the person that was probably closest in her position was Celestia Vega. And I'm not a big fan. I'm not, I think it's fine to say that. You can have an opinion on someone. I'm not a big fan. And she did really well. I'm pretty sure she did really well. I don't know of her situation now, but she did a video. But I don't think she had as much bigging up because I think she was one of the first people to take the leap into porno from YouTube. Yeah. I don't know anyone else that's doing that. I saw a video the other day where it's like, noshing off this YouTuber. And I was like, well, you've only shown his penis, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't show that on YouTube, so I don't have a fucking clue who this guy is.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of like, there's only going to be, if, once it starts, the only people that are going to benefit from this are the first few people that do it. Let's be honest. I know we're going to talk about it, but the Pokemon thing, the first person who did it and opened it live did really well. Everyone since then, no one really cares. I can't be asked, Yeah. And I think this will be the same with this old porn stuff. I think, like, Belle, if you're going to do it, she'll nail it. fucking nail it. She has to, because that's what she's doing in the video anyways. And then like everyone else, yeah. and then people might follow up afterwards. You know, we might see the next PewDiePie come through. You know?
Mate, that people love to, once they see that you can make bank off that kind of thing, right? So people have OnlyFans already. There's a lot of creators, a lot of Twitch streamers, right? A lot of Twitch streamers are going down the path of OnlyFans and dabble in that nudity stuff. And I've seen it all over my Twitter feed now, man. 5 years ago when I started on the Twitch scene, bro, it was like forbidden. You know, they would like shun any person would even remotely like wear fucking cleavage, you know, on Twitch. And now it's the norm, you know, and now OnlyFans are a thing. And now it's like lingerie, you know, on Twitch, and then you can get more exclusive stuff. So Twitch is now used as like a promotion, like a trailer, so to speak, for their OnlyFans now. And now that Belle Delphine is going to do this, I feel like OnlyFans is going to be the trailer for their pornos now. And that is just going to keep going down this path of like, you know, it's just money, bro. At the end of the day, it's fucking money. Sex
is selling, bro. Sex is selling. Cyberpunk, sex is selling, but you know, you can't get refunds on the Belle Delphine one. That's a one and done. No. That is a one done. There's no glitches there.
Yeah. But yeah, mate, I just think everyone's doing things for money these days, bro. Money is just driving the community crazy at the moment. You know, there's so many things that people like. People are doing the first boxing match, first Pokemon, like not the opening, but big event for certain things. Yeah, YouTube boxing, Pokemon card opening, Belle Delphine going to porno. It's like they're all different categories, but they're all one big event on the internet that blows up the entire scene. Yeah. And now we'll go on to the next segment of boxing, bro. Boxing right now is fucking massive.
It's you know what? I can't make my mind up, but is what's happening now destroying the boxing scene or making it better? You know, because YouTube is getting bigger than TV, and there's massive personalities out there, and people don't like to admit it, but YouTube is currently in a great position that's great, making more influences happen, you know? Like, there's so much happening through it. Like, so let's talk about it. So there's Jake Paul and Conor McGregor, and then there's Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather loves money. He loves money. For him to accept a big thing like this...
Floyd Money Mayweather. Yeah. Floyd Money Mayweather. He fucking knows it. You know?
And I can't tell if they're making boxing whether boxing's becoming a mainstream casual viewing, or whether it's still serious. Because I reckon big boxing fans won't like Mayweather coming out to fight a person who's got no wins, you know, just because there's money.
I don't think so. UFC is bigger than boxing, right? UFC is bigger than boxing. So
would you? Is it?
I believe it's boxing is dying. It is. I think I remember hearing
boxing is very much you're only watching the top fights.
I remember what Dana White. I watched an interview with Dana White the other day. And Dana White said the difference between UFC and boxing always revolve around money, yeah? You get paid X amount of money to shot regardless of what happens, right? You get punched in the face, you do whatever, that's it. There's no incentives, it's just you go there, you get paid, you fight, whatever, half-ask it, you're done. You get the same amount of money. No one wants to be punched in the face. You know, you're all getting the same cut. Well, you're getting a cut, you know what you're going into. Regardless if you win or lose, you know there's no real incentive, you know what I mean? Where UFC, this is where Dana White said, this is where you do get massive fights. You know, like with boxing, people are like, oh, we'll go 12 rounds and, you know, punch over a couple of faces. The difference between UFC is there's incentives. Best knockout of the night, couple of grand. You know what I mean? Best submission. Winning in the first, I think it was winning in the first couple of rounds. All these incentives is to help promote the scene. You know, so Dana White was saying that, like, by having these incentives, your athletes that compete in your sport are going to try and push themselves every time they go into these fights, because regardless of if they're the best, like Conor McGregor, regardless if they're the best at what they do, they're always going to keep pushing. You know, like Conor McGregor wanted to fight everyone. Even though he was the fucking best at his thing, he wanted to fight everyone. You know, you don't see Floyd Mayweather going, I want to start punching on with heavyweights. That's not going to happen. He's
never going to go against Joshua. He's never going to against, like, you know, the big names, because he wants it to sell. He wants that money, you know, and that's totally fine, because let's be honest, you're putting your body on the line for boxing. And if you're going to do it, you want to try and sustain a good, healthy career, and you want to entertain people. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, like you might want to box to the highest quality, and he's done that. So nowadays, anything from there is kind of like, hey, I'm more of an exhibition fighter now because everyone knows I was the shit. At one point, that's why Mike Tyson comes out and has a box because he was the shit at one point, and no one's denying it. If he won or lost on that night, people go, "Fuck us 50." Like he's coming. They wanted. I reckon, like boxing in itself, like you say, actually is dying. It's a dying kind of sport.
It is, yeah.
Whereas like UFC is very much that. It is that sport to watch nowadays. I found so many boring fights to watch. Was like when David Haye was boxing people like that huge 7-foot Russian bloke. It's like David and Goliath. And that was boring. Huge fight, super boring to watch. Whereas like you'll get these big influencers, these big personalities coming in, and people love that because people love the shit talk. Like everyone was talking about the Jake Paul and Conor McGregor. I think that will happen. I don't think it will happen yet, and I don't think anyone's going to respond to it really, but it will happen because all that's happened with what Jake Paul did the other day, if Conor McGregor took the thing the other day, they go, oh, it's happening, and that would have died down. Whereas Jake Paul really lit something up, it will settle a little bit, and then it will get reignited again until it's to a point where it's really catching fire. Because for a $50 million offer, that's a no to start off with, because that will be bigger eventually. That will make you more money.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah. Like, boxing is unfortunately dying. It's going to become just an Olympic sport, and the best fighters will fight at the top for the less money, which is weird,
I find it weird that why would you try and fight Conor McGregor in a boxing match? Conor McGregor wanted to fight someone in his own sport to prove himself, yeah?
Yeah.
Jake Paul wants to fight him in a sport that's not even Conor McGregor's sport. That Conor McGregor did was.
Conor McGregor's sport is ultimately the hardest.
He will fucking die.
There's no way. Because those submissions I've watched so many UFC takedowns and stuff. Disgusting. Great fights, but fucking disgusting. Whereas boxing is the only thing that I think McGregor would probably come out for because he goes, you know what? I don't have to train all of my other abilities. I have to be able to throw with this guy. And that's it. That's just one aspect of his career. That's why Mayweather wanted to box McGregor, because he's like, I'm not going to train to fight in an octagon. I don't know how to do submissions or takedowns. I can just throw hands, So I think it will go ahead. I honestly think it will go ahead, because if we're going to work on the whole like personalities over abilities, more people would rather watch a Logan Paul versus Mayweather than Mayweather versus Anthony Joshua, because it's like, it's a personality fight at that stage. It's an exhibition. It's fun to watch, and it's bringing back the fun into it.
I think it's more of a background. It's not, you're bringing backgrounds into this, like I think the biggest thing that builds momentum is people's backgrounds. Yeah. Like Conor McGregor being Irish, like Irish people have that, real passion for what they do. Yeah. Whether it's being aggressive towards someone or supporting like a support fan, when you're hated by Irish people, you fucking know it. When you're loved by Irish people, you fucking know it, because they're very passionate people, and they're very, when Conor McGregor was coming up, he was always very, you can see that he had a lot of support behind him from the Irish people. And that what made Conor McGregor so good, right? So the people, I think it's people's backgrounds, yeah? It's not about your skill on what you do. It's about the background and how you continue taking that next step up. Jake Paul has a background of being a complete smartass, right? A complete and utter fuck. I've heard Logan Paul in his recent podcast going, he's a fucking idiot. Because what he's trying to do, and Logan Paul said this, I feel safer fighting Floyd Mayweather in a sport that he's professional at than fighting Conor McGregor. Like, he's like, I feel safer fighting Floyd Mayweather than Jake Paul would feel safer fighting fucking Conor McGregor in a boxing match. But I just don't see... I really take the heart out of it when they start targeting their partners and shit. That just, like, it's really uncalled for. I mean, as much as you're trying... hate. Yeah, it's just fucked.
I think it's all put on. On. Because let's be honest, Jake Paul, to the wider audience, isn't liked. So for him to try and generate likability to go against McGregor would be wrong, because it plays out of his wrong field. Whereas he knows he's a twat. and he loves the fact that he's a twat in people's eyes. So him, I reckon, because what he did the other day was very, very fucking disrespectful of smoking a cigar, basically taking the piss out of the Irish. He knows that that's his area because everyone was like, "Oh, it's Jake Paul being a total bellend again," you know. And people know that McGregor would really like to stand up against that. So I think that's the best play. It's not him saying, "Hey, you know, I'd really like to fight you, and here's 50 mil." He's gone like, "You're an asshole. I fucking hate you. This. Have 50 mil."
There's 3 things in that video that I don't think people really picked up on. So one thing that that Jake Paul did, right? What are the 3 things that mean the most to Conor McGregor? His partner?
Yeah, he's done
his
that.
Country?
He's only following the partner on Instagram, so there's the background to that.
Yeah. So he targeted his own country in that video where he said fuck the Irish and whatever he said. Then he targeted his partner, and then he offered him money.
Yeah.
So, and it was big money. Yeah. So you've got 3 things that you if you're going to fight someone, you try and target. And he targeted all 3 of those things in that video, as well as drinking whiskey and smoking a cigar. Like he was just trying to add to the persona. But once you've done that, right, I don't think everyone knows that he can't back that up now. Like you've already set such a high standard of an insult that now if Conor McGregor accepts this, it's going to get a lot of feedback, but you're going to be the most hated. Even if you get knocked out, I don't think it's going to benefit Jake Paul in any way. Like
I think you'll love it. I think he'll love it though.
He will mentally love it, but I still think it's going to make people hate him more.
But how much does hate generate? Hate generates the fight, you know? Hate generates the views. A lot of people started watching Logan Paul after the whole Forest incident because they hated him, and now he's loving him. So Jake Paul just has to do that. He just has to go, you know what? I'm going to be a twat. I'm going to hit the deck possibly with McGregor, you know? And then at the end of it, like, he'll come out bigger. He's taken that momentum. He's got a plan for this plan. You know, he's not just going to box and go, well, you know, I'm retired for a bit now because I made a bit of money out of McGregor. He's going to run with that, you know? That's just what they do. That's what the good people do. They run with these bad moments and they make them better for themselves. It's a hard thing to do, and it takes a strong mentality. You know, when I talk about mentality, I always think about people like the Pauls and just go, you know what? They go through some shit.
Bro,
they
do they what?
Absolute shit.
Fuck.
And I know how they can do it, but I almost sometimes respect these things because I'm like, I know what you're doing, and everyone knows what you're doing, and even Conor knows what you're doing, but he's going to let it happen, you know? Conor McGregor's probably gone, yeah, that's fucking shit that he's done that, but you know what? I'm going with this. I'm going to go with it. You know, he might release something in 2 weeks' time. Maybe he said to Jake, hey, if you can generate a lot of like controversy about this behind the scenes, I'll look into it, you know? Do something, you know, make it personal, whatever. Because I don't think Conor McGregor is really one of those people who goes, you know what, this person's being properly about me, you know, properly in my face. I feel like he's going, you know what, he's an actor. He wants to make these things happen. He doesn't mind taking some hate for a bit of cash. Yeah. And I feel like they're going to push with that, you know? I think it'd be bad. I think it will happen, though. I do think it will happen. I don't know when.
I think people are kind of going down the KSI thing as well, right? So we'll go down a different path here with that. So people are trying to say that KSI should fight Jake Paul. If Conor McGregor turns down Jake, and I know you're saying it does, right? But if Conor McGregor turns down Jake because he's like, I don't want to get involved with your fucking YouTuber bullshit, right? Yeah. But KSI will step up. I think that's when...
Is that what he said?
No, that's what I think. So that's what
I don't think so.
Jake Paul's building this hatred for himself right now by targeting one of the best, if not my opinion, the best UFC fighter of all time. Like by challenging him at that point, if Conor turns out I don't want to buy of it, and then KSI will be like, let's fucking... I reckon he will. I reckon if it doesn't go ahead with Conor McGregor, he will fight KSI within the next 6 months.
I think it'll be McGregor or no one with Jake.
You reckon? Go big or go home.
I think it will happen. I think because I don't think Jake will let himself go down. You know, because Jake Paul will do all this bigging up, and then McGregor won't respond, and then he goes and takes someone who's still really good, and then wins or loses to him, and then everyone will go back to the fact, oh well, you're never going to beat McGregor, or they'll go to the fact, oh, well, yeah, but you did want to try and beat McGregor. You'd go to someone weaker, did you? I don't think it will. And I think the only time they're going to actually publicize this is after the Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul fight. Because Logan obviously has gone to Jake like, hey, cut the shit. You know, because I'm trying to big up my event so that when after that's done, McGregor can go, fuck it, I'll fuck you up as well. You know? And then you get a bigger spurge. I reckon.
I think Conor McGregor will be at the fight of Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. I think he will be at the fight and Jake Paul and him will go at it. Mark my words, bro.
I could see it.
I reckon that will happen, bro. And I reckon that'll just build on for the next fight. So they'll have their fight, have their moment. And I can see it already that Conor McGregor has got a seat with his wife next to him. Jake Paul's across the thing, you know, and then maybe Jake Paul gets up in the ring to hug his brother or whatever for whatever reason, and then steps over the ring and starts pointing at Conor McGregor to start a fight. I reckon that's gonna happen on the 20th of Jan. That's gonna fucking happen. I think so as well.
Oh, it's gonna be nutty. It's gonna be nutty when it happens.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be good. It'll be really good. I don't think they're gonna bring back boxing with it. But I still think they're gonna do something that it'll make headlines.
Yeah, for me, I don't watch it for the drama or the incident. I watch how they market the shit out of that. For me personally,
yeah,
I love watching how they market it. You know, people sit there and go, "Oh, it's just drama between guys." It's like, yeah, but you got to look at it from the outside in, or the inside out. Sorry, and see how they kind of build this up and make such an event. You know, it's not just one person hates another person that's fight. It's, you know, they try to build this hatred. They try to build this energy. Like Logan Paul and KSI, they're now friends. They were probably always friends at the same time. I know there was, after they had their fight, they were actually calling each other all the time. They weren't actually angry at each other. They were calling each other all the time. So they knew there was friendship down the line, but they were just building this persona around hating each other. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how that all goes. But KSI recently put out, you're putting out, you mentioned like mental health and stuff before about how the Paul brothers, you know, deal with their situation. I mean, KSI, you know, is probably bigger in my opinion than them when it comes to some of the stuff that he does. And he put out a tweet about mental health recently. You know,
so his tweet that he put out was 23 hours ago, so almost a whole day ago. He goes, "I've been trying so hard to stay strong this whole year, but if I'm being honest, it's really starting to take a toll now." You know, and that's quite a strong statement of very little words.
Yeah,
you know, because for someone from an outsider point of view, we go, "Holy shit!" But the Sidemen did this. You've done this. You've done this, and like, you've done all these things. But I almost think when he's at that standard, I know that he said that he was an introvert back in the day, you know, so, you know, I can understand where he's coming from. Like, this could be really hard for someone like that, because he's essentially, I think he's probably in a position now where he's kind of gone, you know what, I've almost completed life, you know, how I would say it. Like, he goes, I'm making a ton of money out of everything I'm doing, you know, they're making tons of money out of Sidemen. Load of money out of himself, a load of money out of his music, and his other ventures as well. I almost feel like he's got to the point where he's like, I can't fail.
I think, you know? He's hit that point that PewDiePie hit a while back. So obviously PewDiePie was so big for so long that he hit that breaking point where he took so many months off. He was like, I'm not making anything anymore. I'm done. Like, he took a big mental health break where he focused on his, I think he got married and all that kind of stuff.
Wasn't that media driven as well? The media fucking hates PewDiePie.
Yeah. And he was just, I mean, it must have been affecting his mental health, you know, and he was just like, well, fuck, I'm just going to take a break for a bit, you know, and then came back and still killing it. But I feel like that's where KSI is at now. He's been on such a high for so long, you know, the fight, obviously winning the fight with Logan Paul, that high, you know, people don't realize just because you're successful, just because you're successful, I think people still disregard the fact that people get addicted or have this light or moments in their life where it's such a positive ride for so long. And the minute that starts to die down, you know, whatever that be, whether you're fucking loaded or not, whatever that point gets to, you're like, okay, now I'm starting to mellow out and things are starting to hit me. I'm like coming down almost from the high of last year or whatever. And it's like, you know, this year has just been shit. obviously COVID, he probably can't travel himself. He's probably in the same predicament you are. Can't do much, can't do anything. They're probably locked up in the UK themselves. And he is probably thinking, you know, I'm at rock bottom right now. This in the last 4 years or 5 years of my content creations, since I've done it, or 10 years, however long he's been doing it for, this is probably the lowest point in my career mentally because he can't do anything, you know? So, yeah, I feel for that.
Yeah, it's big. You know, I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't realize with YouTubers. Because I'm always very anti people telling me dead channel, dead views, all of this stuff. Because at some point, they would have been your highest views, you know? But now, because your highest views are higher, your lowest views are lower, but still high, you know? It's almost like when I see people and they say to me, like, oh, your videos aren't doing as well as they used to. I'm like, well, how long can you keep something so high? You know, you can't be the best in the world forever. You can't be the best at everything forever. You have to have a plateau, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I look at my views and I'm kind of go, yeah, I had a big up. I had a really big up for a while. And then they came down. And I'm like, you know what? I'm happy here because I've kind of gone, you know, I'm at this stage. I can try new things. I can do new things. I'm at that standard where I can try and do new stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it takes pressure off you. I feel like a lot of YouTubers and content creators and people in positions of, you know, viewership really and numbers need to go, you know what? The only people who should care about this are those looking in on it, not me. You know, I don't care about my views to look at. I know I only care about it with sponsors and stuff. And I try and gauge it with how the videos are in general. But realistically, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if my next video hits 30k or 3 million. You know, I'd love it hit 3 million. But, you know, you've got to look at it and you just go, there's going to be downs and there's going to be plateaus. There's going to be leveling out. You know, it depends how much your greed is, how much you think your worth is.
Yeah.
I feel like completely different.
I feel like as a YouTuber, when you're talking about the views and stuff, I feel like if, God forbid you make a banging video too early.
I say that to, so I love Stenix. Stenix a great man. But I said to him, because he you know, he talks to me, you know, and I think he'll be fine with me saying this, where he goes, you know, the views weren't too good. And I said, mate, like, you've got to focus on this. This is your biggest thing. Right now, you're not at the stage where your editing is top par with where you want it to be. You're still finding yourself, which is totally fine. That's how it is. All you're doing at the moment is creating videos because you should enjoy it. You know, if you enjoy making videos, it will come. You know, but you also got to know that you're not at the stage you want to be. And you probably won't ever be at the stage you want to be. But if you have a banging video and your next video is not up to par with the last one, you've almost lost an opportunity there because you couldn't do it. And it's no fault. It's no fault of your own. It's just unlucky, you know, because a lot of my early videos, if they popped off, I'd have been in the shit. I'd have made a quick 10k and gone, you know, in terms of views. But you know, each video from when it popped off, I just went, let's go with it. Next video, you know, keep going with it. And the views were less, but they were higher than they were before that video. And then they grew from there, you know. The way I say it is you're always planting seeds, you know, and not every seed is going to come up and do really well. But when one of it does, the rest of them will. You're just trying to make it, you're essentially putting out nets and letting things come into it. And then when that starts to grow, use that momentum to keep it going. Yeah. You know, it's hard for people to understand when you're not in that position when it's doing, you know, when it's doing well. People just expect it to happen. I always say to people, I made 100 videos before I made 100 subs, you know, and that's what happens. But at the same time, I didn't care. I was still working my job. I was still making videos. I'd still be doing that now, you know, but fortunately, I'm doing it now. Yeah. I'm in a position where I can just make the videos and I can just do that. But a lot of mental health issues with YouTubers and content creators and Twitch streamers and every single person in a position where numbers are available is you overthink it. Yeah. And that is a killer. You know, that is a huge killer. Let's look at someone like Ninja. He had over 1 million. Did he have over? He was generating over 1 million sub revenue. And he's nowhere near that now. Yeah. But that man, you know, has probably gone through a lot of shit mentally. He's hard as fuck. Mentally. These people at the top who have managed to stay at that level and not completely crack under the horrible hate that comes their way, they're doing well. Yeah. But people have to remember that there are ups and downs. That's with stocks, that's with life, that's with your penis, it's with everything. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to just accept that there's shit's gonna happen, and it's not gonna roll with it forever. If it rolls with it forever, you got to take a different course. But usually, if you're happy with what you're doing, it's not going to.
Yeah.
Save your money, be smart, do smart videos, don't be dumb. And if you're gonna be dumb, do dumb right. You know, if you're gonna be stupid and make stupid things happen, do it properly. Don't completely fuck yourself over. And I completely agree with someone like KSI saying that. I can't. I'm not in his position, but his position might feel exactly like my position. You know, to me, I don't feel like feelings will be. I don't think that position will be like a massive issue once you've gradually got to that stage. But if you get there quickly, that could be an issue.
Yeah,
that could be a huge problem.
When you're on a downhill spiral quickly like that, bro, it'll mess you up. If you're like obviously thinking about it over the last couple of months, things are going down, numbers are down. Like I said before, once you start looking at numbers and start really trying to crunch numbers, and your numbers aren't reaching like a peak, everything's gonna hit a peak at one point. Yeah. Everything's going to hit a peak at one point. Businesses have made millions and millions of dollars and now don't make millions of dollars, but are still making business. But people, when you bring it down to such a small such thing as one person, what you do dictates that one thing, such as your numbers or how you produce a video or whatever, then you personally attack yourself. I think that's built in as humans. We try and improve ourselves. If we physically try and upload something, we want it to be better than the last. That's not always going to be the case, and most likely it's not going to be the case. You know, there's, like you said before, there's videos that you thought, yeah, it'll do all right, and it pops off. You're like, what the fuck? You know, where did this come from? You know, but I'll take it. You know, but you got to remember that the next one that you think's going to pop off might not pop off, and that'll eat you more than the ones you didn't expect to pop off, but did pop off. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the harsh reality. Once you start really dictating yourself, like, I'm putting myself at this level, at my peak. This is my peak right here. You know, this is the best video I ever made, and I'm going to try and hit that every time. You're never going to get there. That was like hitting a home run over the fucking stands. You know, it's like a 1 in a million chance. Your next, 50 swings, you're probably going to hit not even an out, get it over the fence, you know? So you might get striked out. You know, these things happen all the time, but careers are made from people hitting it over the fence, people hitting home runs, doing the hard yards of just a single runs, doing the full 3 runs, you know? These things take time, man, before you start hitting your home runs. Like, it's not going to be such things as one video, smash it. You know, how many people make one video, it blows up, and then they just keep making videos and they're just fucking blowing up all over the place. It doesn't happen. Mr. Beast made videos for fucking years before he became to the point where he's at now. By the way, he just launched 300 restaurants the other day. Dude's fucking mental. He launched 300 restaurants across the US.
It's crazy.
The man's a genius.
This is something as well. Is like, name me someone you watched 10 years ago you still watch now.
Yeah.
Or 5 years ago or 3 years ago. I've had people say to me, you're Oblivion, I used to watch your videos. And that's never bad to me. Because at some point, I had that person watching me. And that person has now been replaced by another person. People are going to come and go. You know? Friends are something that shouldn't come and go. But people will come and go. You know, I'm going to see a lot of people go through my videos and go, I used to love watching your videos back in the day. And that's not a bad thing. That just means at that moment in time, you were very well suited to that person, you know, and that person's found a different thing. I've watched some people for a whole day, the next day, the whole day again, and then the next day I don't watch them anymore. I'm done. You know, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm moving on to someone, you know, and that's just how it is. Because that's just what happens with my videos. When they were popping off, I was like, right, I'm going to keep the momentum going, keep trying to make good videos and make them happen. But you're never going to be at that high point all the time. Because if you are, you have to be a next level. You have to be next level. Look at someone who's big on the scene like James Corden. You know, massive. Everyone loved him. Got too big. People hate him. You can't win. You cannot win in it, you know. And then you look at the alternate side, which is Justin Bieber. Everyone hated him. Now they love him.
It's because once you get to, like I said, once you get to your peak, right? Anything you do less than that, people will judge you, right? Bieber fucking hit his peak at like the age of like 16 or some fucking whatever.
Like that,
Peak, boom. Then it's like, you're going through puberty. You want to start being reckless. You want to start trying different things. You got money to blow. You want to just have a bit of fun. Fuck no. People's going to start hating you for it. You know what I mean? That's the reality we live in. That's the reality we live in, unfortunately. Because once you hit your peak and people see that, and you don't start to hit your peak for a little bit, people start to question it, at work or whatever it is, hey man, you were smashed yesterday. Say the last couple of weeks you've not been too well, and they'll try and, but for you mentally, it's just like, you got to realize what it is and push through it and just keep going, man, because it doesn't dictate who you are or define who you are. You're like, Bieber didn't okay, because he fucking vandalized a hotel room and everyone hated him for it. That defined who he was as a person. Like Logan Paul did the Forest thing. Everyone hated him, but now realize that he's actually not a fucking bad dude.
People can have their shits. People can do bad things.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't do anything super fucking bad, totally fine with it.
But yes.
That's the way it is.
But I think we're getting pretty close now, bro. We're wrapping it up. It's been 1 hour and 5 minutes for our fucking podcast back before Christmas. We will hopefully have another podcast out before the new year. I definitely want to get one before the new year, talk about the new year, talk about new shit for the new year. If you guys are still listening. Yeah, have a breakdown. Yeah. If you guys are still listening and watch the first part, make sure to go check out Oblivion's new servers. I'll be uploading some videos. I'll be on there in the next couple of weeks doing some Rust videos. I know Brett will probably be on there as well doing some Rust videos. So if you guys want to catch us sometime.
Get some events going. Get
some events going. Hell, there might have been some giveaways for Steam gift cards and shit. I might throw some money in there and start giving away some Steam gift cards on that server. So go check it out. Go show him some love, and you'll probably see us on there. If you guys are listening on Spotify, we are on YouTube, and in YouTube we are on Spotify. And we also have socials, the DownUnder podcast on Twitter, and of course at Oblivion on Twitter, and TheBigGeee AUS for myself. That's us, Brett.
And it's Happy Christmas, because we ain't going to see you guys since.
Merry Christmas, guys. And hopefully we see you before the new year.
Keep your curtains closed. See you later, guys. Enjoy your Christmas.
Enjoy Belle Delphine. Enjoy Belle Delphine.
Enjoy that as well. Have a good nut.
Bye.